It's happening.
Did you record the other ones?
No, I didn't record the other ones.
Oh my goodness! So it's just.
See, here's the thing. I haven't had a new episode in 2 weeks.
Oh my god!
You don't even notice. You didn't even notice,
dude.
So here we go. This is good.
So this is like a landing with like no landing gear. We're just gonna.
Yeah, dude, but watch this.
Screeching halt.
Watch this.
What? I'm gonna wrap it all up.
I'm the master at landing gears.
Oh my gosh!
Here we go.
And action.
This is it.
This is it.
This is the last one. This is the last one, dude.
Chef's kiss. That was so
landing
good.
gear, baby.
Wow.
So check this out. You and I had a conversation on the phone a few weeks ago. It probably caught you by surprise.
Yeah, almost definitely.
Yeah. So here's been my journey the last month and a half. This whole thing, I started this podcast like last January 2023 because at the time I didn't really have like a lot going on in ministry. Didn't have a lot going on. Like the kids were still young, right? Like we hadn't started any type of sports or anything. And so I'm like, I just feel like I have like a lot of like creativity and things in me that I just kind of want to put out because I don't have any other avenue to do this. So I'm going to start a podcast. And so the podcast started as a chop shop, which really was I'm going to share whatever I feel like sharing. There was no really direction but in that I was able to share a lot of like good things about myself. A lot of, I think, healing came from that. I was able to share the story of me and Ruthie, talked about Papa on that podcast. And then this January, well, before that, it was actually in November, you came on, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, you came on, and then, that was a great episode. And then I was like, I think I want to kind of like hone this in a little bit more, right? Like pick an actual topic to talk about. And so that's kind of how Proud Papi was birthed, right? I want to talk about fatherhood. I want to talk about this because this is what I'm going through now. Like, this is like my life right now is relationship with my kids, relationship with my wife. Like, how do I manage it all?
Yeah.
And a lot.
And I would say during that time, I think when we started talking about it, I brought a lot of intentionality into it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to lock you down because I'm your younger brother, so I've seen you. And you can be a little scatterbrained sometimes.
Sure.
Like, let's do this, let's do that, and that kind of thing. And we were able to kind of like, okay, who do you want to kind of speak to? And I think through that conversation, I think we were able to kind of really hone in on the direction that you wanted to go. Yeah.
I mean, you had like, you told me to like picture and create this avatar person of who, right? This select person of who I want to talk to. And the thing that just spoke to me most was like fatherhood. And so this is what we've been doing for the last, 4 or 5 months. And I kind of noticed like a change in my posture towards the podcast, like probably sometime in April of like, I really enjoyed doing this. But I started asking myself like, is this what I really want to do? I think I like the idea of having a podcast. I really do. I love the idea of having a podcast. But then I'm like, but is this really what I'm supposed to do? Is this what I want to do? And around the same time, like things started happening, like good things in my life that kind of got me in touch with my calling, what I feel God has called me to do. And some of that was preaching, right? Getting in touch again with communicating the word of God. And that kind of like got some juices flowing again. Like
reinvigorated.
It reinvigorated some things in me that had been dormant. Thank you. I said doormat the other day. Ruth was like dormant. Oh yeah, sorry, dormant. That were dormant for a long time. And so over the podcast, if you kind of like listen, there is kind of a story that kind of is happening. And that is when I started the podcast, I was kind of unsure of who I'm supposed to be. Right. And then as you listen to the podcast, I'm having conversations with other people. I'm sharing my experiences. I'm sharing my story. I'm talking about Papa a lot, right? Talking about my family, talking about fatherhood. And then little by little, looking back at it, you can almost see like that I'm starting to kind of rediscover like who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And then that final thing was just, hey, like get in touch again with what you're called to do. And that kind of reinvigorated me and had me praying and asking God, like, give me wisdom. Like, what should I do with this podcast? Because I enjoy doing it. It's a great time. It's a good reason to get together and see my brother and hang out with my brother, right? And the content that we're putting out is good, and I feel like it's been helpful, and people have shared like, hey, that they've enjoyed it. But I don't ever want like one of my things or my projects or my desires to get in the way of like what God wants to do. And so that's kind of where my tension was like, God, what I don't have room to do both. I don't want to make room to do both. If I were to be honest,
yeah,
I feel like I was kind of maxing and capping myself out where like, I want to go after this thing that God has called me to do because that has come alive in me again, but I don't have the margin in my life to go after that thing. So something needs to be cut out, right? And so I talked to Ruthie, had a great conversation with her, talked to one of my friends and had a great conversation with him. And like, then I was praying about it and just kind of came to like the realization like, hey, like I'm not supposed to make room for everything. I have the power to choose, and what I choose is completely okay. Because at the end of the day, like, who I am today is in a way better place than who I was when I started the podcast.
Yeah.
And so, so this will be the last Proud Papi podcast.
That's a better landing.
Thank you. See?
Yeah.
Landing gear.
Explained it.
This is the last one. And it's not, I'm kind of bummed that, this will be it, but I'm not bummed because it means that I get to make more time to go after the things that God wants me to go after, be a better father, be a better husband. Like, that was the other part of it was like, it's kind of great, like sitting here talking about fatherhood. I kind of would like to have even more time to go and actually do what we're talking about. Because sometimes like we come here and we record. Honestly, this is the least amount of time that I spend on this thing. The most time I spend on this thing is afterwards when you send it to me and I got to do all the editing, and it's taking time away from being with my wife, taking time from me being with my kids. And I don't know how I felt about it. It was kind of like indifferent with it. So I'm excited and I feel at peace and free because I get to like, I feel like I'm stepping into a new chapter in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like this podcast has left a good milestone for me in my life that I can look back and go, I remember that year and a half that I did that podcast and that journey, like of where I started and then where I left it off at and what that did for me into that next season. Yeah. So that is the reason why this is the end. I probably will leave the profile page up forever because, again, I think the content is good.
Yeah.
And it's evergreen. It's not ever going to go out of style. And if I ever want to jump on and share, because this is what I love doing. I love seeing like fatherhood content creators who are like way better than I am. I like seeing their stuff and like posting it, because I feel like, like that's what it's all about. And so I'm going to probably keep the profile page open and do stuff like that and share, because there's so many other like fatherhood content creators that are really good, like guys you should check out and listen to. And if I were to be honest, I can probably give you a couple, but I think we've shared them before, but I'm definitely going to share them on our profile page. But so we're going to talk a little bit about just kind of fatherhood to kind of wrap this thing on a bow, but I want to make sure that I say this. There are a lot of people that I'd like to thank for being on the podcast, right? So going back to the Chop Shop days, I really like to thank Lanny. So Lanny was here just a few weeks ago, but he was actually my very first guest on the Chop Shop when it was just audio. and we talked about his dad. It was a great episode. So Lainey, thank you for being on the podcast. My wife, Ruthie, made numerous appearances, including one where she literally walked in as I was recording. She was coming home from the gym, and she walked in. So, babe, thanks for making an appearance there. My kids made an appearance, each of them, except Dahlia did not. That's okay. That girl's probably going to have her own show.
Seriously.
Because that girl, man. I also want to thank Jay Perry. Still probably the most watched episode, the most watched clips is from his interview. Him coming on and sharing his story was amazing. So Jay, man, appreciate you for coming on the Chop Shop. Rob came on the Chop Shop. Rob, thank you for coming on the Chop Shop. Eli made an appearance on the Chop Shop.
I did.
Before it was Proud Papi. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
And then the episode that really, I think, really was the like catalyst to change it to Proud Papi was the episode with Dad.
Yeah, almost definitely.
That is the episode that after I talked to him and it was a great conversation. It was the Chop Shop, but I consider that to be episode 1 of Proud Papi.
Yeah.
Because I think it was only 2 more episodes after that we literally just flipped over and did Proud Papi. So my dad really was a catalyst for that. And it's probably, I mean, my mom too, but those are probably like my favorite episodes just because of how much I was able to get from them. So Dad, thanks for being on the Chop Shop podcast. Eric, man, Fairway Fathers. It was great. Like, it was great to reconnect with him. It was great to hear his story. And now we have a fly in here. See, this is when we know it's time to wrap it up. And the fly is coming up and like, yeah, you guys are dead. Get out of here. Eric sharing his story, like, I think he was the first one to we kind of got into some things that we didn't talk about because we don't know what that experience is like.
Right.
And that is more of that blended family, separated, right? Like, but he shared his story and it was beautiful. And on top of that, Fairway Father polos, golf shirts are amazing. Great quality.
Have mine in my closet.
You should. I have mine too. Father's Day is coming up. It's coming up this Sunday, actually. And
is it already this Sunday?
Yeah, it is next to this Sunday. Can you believe it?
No. No, it's next Sunday.
No, it's this Sunday.
No,
it's this Sunday.
Oh.
Now they know that we don't record this thing.
I think they already knew.
No, I don't think they knew. I don't think you guys knew. We would get together and we record every other week.
Well, don't give away the secrets.
Oh, no, baby. Kidding. It's all out here now.
Yeah, it's all out.
And we record two episodes every time we got together, and then we kind of batch them that way. Anyway, so it's this weekend. Okay. Anyways, Fairway Fathers has a sale going on right now. So go to fairwayfathers.com. Get your dad, or if you know a dad and they love golf, even if they don't, these shirts are really nice. The designs are made by his daughters. Anyways, Eric, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Mom, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking about Papa and giving us some more stories and insight about him that I didn't know. I don't know if you knew. No. I think she gave us more of a picture of what Papa was like as a dad, from a daughter's perspective, right? I think we've heard from my uncles quite a bit on how he was with them, but hearing Mom talk about him kind of gave us that 3D picture where the rounded, right? Am I forgetting somebody that came on the podcast? Laney again came on.
Shane.
Prop up. And Shane, yes, thank you. My brother-in-law Shane came on, shared his story again. That was a great time episode. Him sharing his story again. Something we couldn't speak to. I'm glad that he came on to speak to it because he was able to that's the blended family is becoming the new norm, right? So I think having that on there was great. If this is your first episode of Proud Papi,
thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We have, oh my goodness, let's see, I'm going to totally butcher this, but I'm going to look to cheat. We have over 20 episodes of Proud Papi content.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fatherhood content that you could go back and listen to on the podcast app or watch on YouTube. On top of that, there's probably at least another 26, 27 episodes of the Chop Shop that you can go back to listen to. A lot of it talks about fatherhood. Some of it is more just about life and faith and family. And so go back and watch that stuff, listen to it, comment on it. If you comment, it's my YouTube, so I'm gonna interact with it. It's my Instagram page, I'm gonna interact with it. If you want to keep like more in touch with me, because again, the podcast Instagram page will stay up, but I'm probably not gonna be as active on it. You can follow me on my personal Instagram page at Benny Fuego. I have it on private, but if you request and you look like somebody that I would like to have as a friend.
Or you can message and say, hey.
Or you can message and say, hey, I heard the podcast episode and I just wanted to follow you to keep come on. Because, I share more stuff on there.
You do.
It's the more personal stuff. It's not necessarily podcast related. So
don't follow me because I never post.
Yeah, don't follow Eli. Yeah. Eli's a boring follow.
Yeah.
And then the things that he puts on his videography is just like, here's where I am today.
Yeah.
I think I'd like more like, yo guys, it's Eli here. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is exactly what I'm doing. Rather than I'm on location with so-and-so. I know some of the stuff you can't talk about.
Correct.
Because you're doing Marvel movies.
Yep, that's it. I'm doing Top Gun.
Ooh, he's doing Top Gun. But I mean, the stuff that you can, I think it'd be cool. Like, just, hey, so this is what I'm doing here. This is the reason why I'm here. I don't know. On top of this being the last episode of Proud Papi, this is the last time that we're going to be brothers as well.
Yep.
We're officially...
Paperwork is officially filed.
It's turned in.
Yep.
You just got to give it 3 business days. It becomes official.
Officially. Wait, who's becoming what? Who's keeping the surname?
Oh, I mean, I'm keeping the surname.
So I have to become a McKee? Is that what's going on? No.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. But on top of all that, dude, thank you to you.
Yeah.
Because this podcast wouldn't have kept going at the way it did if you didn't jump on when you did.
It's true.
It is true. Honestly, you gave me a great focus and you really were able to shape me to know what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, had me thinking in ways that I'm like, okay. Because I think that was the thing I've always dealt with that was hard, was how to niche down, how to really focus on something. And that has really helped me, not just with the podcast, but in my own personal life, because like right now I help out at church. One of the things I do is I communicate from the platform and behind the camera. And I have the privilege to be able to help other people get better. So I'm not the head guy, but I'm one of the people that can coach. And so I kind of use the stuff that you've hey, think about this person. How do you communicate this to this person? And I've taken that kind of method and thinking into communicating at church as well. So, but a lot of the things that you've shared, ideas has been great. And yeah, dude, thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah.
It's honestly probably, other than playing in Mirrors together, this is probably another thing that's dude, this is awesome. Which Mirrors?
When is this releasing again? Just kidding.
Father's Day is this Sunday.
Father's Day is this Sunday, so that makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, since Mirrors, we got to play together. We obviously did things together before then, but but this was the most recent thing that we were able to do.
Yeah.
So it's been tons of fun. I hope that's not the last time. I'm not saying that I'm going to have another podcast. That's not what I'm saying, but
I am.
But if you are, I'd love to help you. So I don't know how I would do that, but you're can we? Eli's you're I think I'm going to start a fatherhood podcast, and I think I'm going to have Ben as my guest co-host, and then Ben can do the recording.
It's called Papi's Proud. It's the sequel to Proud Papi.
Can you imagine if you just put your face over mine and then you just flip the logo backwards?
It's honestly just going to be a reaction podcast.
Oh, there you go.
I just watch your podcast and just lead you. No, that's not right.
That's not good. That's not good stuff right there. Yeah.
Oh, what did he say? Let's rewind that. Oh, yeah, that's not even a word. What is that?
I mean, Eli's provided the camera, the lighting.
Yeah, and can I say some thank yous, dude?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first off, thank you to my wife, Jenna Nicole Contreras.
Yes.
For not only allowing us to take away the living room.
For sure.
During this time, but also for all the time for editing. I know we did kind of talked about batch recording, that kind of thing. So this was a commitment every other week to come record, to come and edit, send things out to you. So thank you to my wife for doing that. Same to my son, because this is normally nights that I would probably put him down. And so another thank you to my wife for putting him down, but that I didn't get to do that. And just thank you to you. Thank you to you for having me on here. This was a lot of good conversations. I think if you haven't picked it up already, if you're a watcher of the show, Ben and I are very different people in the way that we think and our experiences. And so to have conversations with someone that's different from you and getting perspective, because I think there was just as many pointed questions I had for you as you had for me.
Yeah.
Like I really wanted to know you, like as a person and the way that you kind of thought. And so to everyone that has been watching, thank you. I know I've had a couple of my people that have been watching that have been really kind of enjoying that podcast. Sorry to see it go. And just so you know, I was just as shocked as you probably are. Yeah. Because it literally just sent me a text like, hey, can we chat? And I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? And you said, oh, I want to talk about the podcast. And I immediately, my first initial thought was, oh, he wants to double down. He wants to like up the production value. He wants to like commit on thing. And then when you told me, I think these are, I was like, whoa, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah.
Because I think we were having some really good conversations. I know I had a couple of guests that I still would have loved to have on to get their perspective on fatherhood. And I think it is one of those topics that you can just hit from so many different angles.
Sure.
So many different angles and so many different ways of wisdom. And I learned a lot, like as a father and what has worked for people. And so for me, it was kind of this really beneficial thing for me too, to just be able to listen. And again, those conversations with dad and mom, especially, like a lot of those times I just kind of sat back and just kind of listened, just kind of listener at that time.
Yeah, so. For sure. I mean, I think those are the things I'm going to take away the most is those, because like those live forever on YouTube now, Like those are now. For worse. I mean, I don't think they are for worse. No, I think they are for better. Like we were able to have these conversations. Not to say that we're not going to have future ones with them, but these got to get recorded in a time in mom and dad's life where here they are on the back end of parenthood, because now they're watching their kids be parents, and now they're giving their perspective.
Yeah,
that's a powerful like place in life to be able to like, here's what we did, here's what we see now, right? Yeah. Like here's the result of what. So like,
and I think of anything, have those conversations with your parents. Hopefully they're a starter to have those conversations. I mean, I know that dad's went as long as it did because that was probably one of the longest conversations we ever had, like with dad.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter if you are 34 or 14. I think any time that you can actually have those conversations with your parents, especially if you don't normally have those conversations with your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are going to be the ones I'm going to take away. And then honestly, I think the other thing too is like being able to share, just stories, stories about the kids. I have made it on there, funny stories, some sad stories, some all kinds of stories. I think it's always great. But yeah, I do, for you that are watching, for those of you that are watching and have been listening, thank you so much for just being a part of this. I think I didn't know how it was going to be received. I didn't know how many people would follow. There's some people watching that aren't even dads, but they eventually will become dads. There's people watching that are moms. So just thank you to everyone that's been really interacting, engaging with the content. It's very much appreciated. And I don't think that this goes in vain.
No.
I don't think that it goes like, sure, like this is the end of it, but I don't think that the effect of what this podcast has will end here. And I say that because I'm speaking just for myself. Like this is an experience that I'm going to take with me forever. The conversations that we've had, the conversations I've had with other people are conversations that are going to stick through my mind. And I'm always going to, those are going to be coming up in situations as I'm parenting. We had Lanny talking about having a teenager. In a couple of years, like that's going to be me. You know what I mean? So like, those are things that are just going to come up. And I would encourage, the dads to always like look for somebody who's a step or two ahead of you and like ask questions. Hey, how'd you handle this? Hey, what did you do when this happened? Hey, what are some things I can do before? Like that's the only way that we can really learn. Not to say that we're not going to learn the hard way of like making mistakes but I think it's always great to have a community of dads around you to kind of help support you. I think it's beneficial. So Let me ask you a question. We'll kind of end it like this. Where do you see yourself as a dad in, let's see, when James and any other children that you guys have from now and then are adults and have their kids, what kind of grandparent do you think you're going to be?
First and foremost, hopefully alive. Let's start with that one. I didn't tell you this. Actually, it was really funny. When I was leaving from Santa Barbara to head down to Jacob's house, I said, hey, I'm just checking in. I should be coming in around, this time tomorrow kind of thing. And he texts me back, okay, mijo, Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. There was part of me that's like, please, I'm about to travel. Please don't say Lord willing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Let's say, bless you with safety. But
side note,
yeah,
that's such a big sentiment with the Hispanic church.
Oh, dude.
Si Dios quiere, but really what that means is if the Lord wills it. So like, yes, right? Like if Lord willing,
we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. I know. It's like it sounds
bad.
It does sound bad.
And like honestly, that was the day before. That same day, that's how he responded every single time. I was like, "Theo, I'm on the road. You can't be saying that stuff." Yeah. Anyways, that is a really good question. Because I don't know what side of me will be prevailing, because I am obviously a very silly man. I acknowledge that, and I can be very childish, sometimes. But I'm also very introspective, and I try to be as thoughtful as I can in situations and stuff. So I'd like to think I'd find a good balance of that.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I would be a fun grandpa. But one that, would, be, having good conversations with my grandkids too, taking them out, being intentional with that, teaching them, some things. And so, and telling them about my life. So that's where I'd like to think I land.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that Jenna will still be rolling her eyes anytime I say a very corny joke. And, that's where I'd like to be. I'd like
to make her eyes roll.
Yeah.
At me.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. I mean, same. Like I think
we can make this like a real time capsule thing. You can be very specific and then just see how it pans out.
I hope that I would mentally, be present and physically, as best as possible. I know I'm going to be like a yoked grandpa. But I also like to be in a place where I'm able to like be with my kids and the grandkids like a lot. Like we're talking about close to retirement age or over. Like, yeah, I'd like to be enjoying them.
Oh, you're retiring?
More than not. Yeah, heck yeah, I'm retiring.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see what I'm even doing.
Yeah.
I honestly, so here's the crazy thing. I don't know, and I have these thoughts all the time. Like, I enjoy doing my job. They take good care of me. I don't have any reason to leave right now. I just don't know if I see myself there for that long. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm leaving. Shane, don't freak out. I'm not saying I'm leaving. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think I've always been like you, where it's like, the dream is, I think this is a dream for everybody. You want to work doing something like that you love to do, you enjoy doing. I don't have that feeling right now. This isn't the type of work that I'm like, yeah, like this is what I live for, right? But, anyways, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I mean, I hope there's an age where I'm like, yeah, come on, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'd be definitely want to spend time with the grandkids. I think, you know, having like being the type of grandpa like goes, picks up the grandkids and takes them out is always cool. Even like going and, you know, telling Abel, Mateo, or Dalia, like, hey, you guys go have fun. Me and your mom are going to stay and watch them, you know, like stuff like that. Like, I think that would be awesome because I'm doing two things there, right? Like, I know how hard it is to, it'd be really nice to like take my wife out. And sometimes babysitters don't come that easy.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you feel like they don't. So I'd be doing two things there, like providing a night that my kids can go and enjoy time with their spouse, and then also spend time with my grandkids and spoil the heck out of them, right? Like, all right, mom and dad's gone. That means all the candy, ice cream, and like whatever, right? And I think Ruthie's like definitely going to be that type of grandma too. So I know we're both going to be wreaking havoc on our kids, on our kids' lives. You know, as parents.
Oh yeah, dude. We're going to be the same way.
Mischievous.
Kale chips for everybody. Come on, everybody. We got some fresh oranges, got some grapes for you. If you guys don't say anything, we'll give you some coconut popsicles. Great.
So yeah, I mean I think that's kind of how I see myself becoming as a grandfather. So fatherhood is a long and windy road, and I know that there's going to be lots of ups and downs, but I really believe that it's like one of the best jobs in the world. It's one of the best honors in the world is to be a dad, to be there for your son or your daughter when the things are going well and when they're going bad, to be that guiding voice that directs them and teaches them on how to handle life's issues, to be their hero, to be their role model, to be, if none of that, at least like a strong person that they can trust and rely on. I wouldn't trade that for the world. I love my kids. I love being a dad. Even on the hardest day, wouldn't trade it in. And so that's why the podcast existed. And that's why even when this podcast is over, I'm still a dad. The job doesn't stop.
It's true.
When this is over, I'm going home, going to enjoy my wife, going to enjoy my kids, raise my kids the best the way that I know how, be the dad that my kids deserve. And this is where I stick the tagline, right? Like, I want to be a proud papi. Not a proud papi because I'm a papi, but proud of the papi that I am, right? Like, proud papi is not just like, I'm a dad, so I'm proud. No. It's about being proud of the type of dad that you are. Taking pride in that, putting effort, attention, growing, learning. That's what Proud Papi is all about. That's what this podcast is about. And that's what my life is going to be about. That's what I'm going to do with my kids, you know? So, man, I don't know how else to end this.
Well, I know how.
Okay. Are you going to sing a song?
No.
Oh.
For those of you that are unaware, today is June 4th. It is the hottest day we've had all year. I
know. We picked the hottest day.
Yesterday was 76, and today got up to 99, and I'm baking.
Yeah, I'm like sweating under this hat.
I can smell my skin from.
Oof. And there's a fly flying around, so now we know why.
Yeah, but just so you know, if in case like we look a little like
glossy,
hot, a little glossy, it is baking in this.
I see the wind outside, but I guarantee you it's still 85.
It's still hot. Yeah, it's still hot.
5 degrees out there. Yeah, it's hot.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But thank you for your years of service. I'd like to give you this commemorative watch.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jana.
Oh, Jana.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, this has been a really great journey. I think for both of us. Yeah. If you want to keep on the watch out, you can follow Ben and just send a message. Say, hey, just want to kind of follow your life. And
do want to share this because this will be the last time we'll be able to do this, obviously. But you have an event coming up at the end of the month.
I do.
I don't know how much details you have ready to share, but you could.
I guess enough.
Okay, let's share this event real quick before we head out, so that people can kind of learn about. This is if you live locally or if you want to come and join us.
So first off, thank you for everyone that has supported us through kind of our adoption journey. We are still going through that, putting on some ways to kind of help raise some funds, have some people partner alongside with us. June 29th, which is a Saturday, we'll be hosting a benefit concert here locally in Santa Rosa. We will be at Iglesia Nueva Generación, which is all the same building as a New Vintage Church for those of you that know locally. And we'll be putting together some of our favorite worship songs. I've got some really talented musicians and friends that are coming along. So far, we have representation from the Promise Center, from Bayside Church, and from Petaluma Calvary, with possibly some more churches being involved. But so it'd be 6 o'clock, Saturday, January 29th, over at New Vintage or Iglesia Nueva Generación. And admission is free, but we will be accepting donations if you'd like to give to help us kind of help us raise some funds and come and partner alongside us. That'd be great. So it should be a really great time of worship. We're 100% putting faith into whatever God is going to raise from this event. Yeah. And just like the 2 fish and the loaves, we're praying that He multiplies whatever comes through that door. And so if you'd like to support us physically, you can do that. If you're not able to make it but still would like to support, you can always reach out to Ben. He'd be able to do that. And I believe we're also going to be doing a live recording of that night as well. So we'll have that available for donation as well for anyone that would like to listen if you aren't here locally and also like to support us. So
Eli will be singing at this event.
Yeah, you know what? Not a lot of people know I sing.
Yeah, no. You're the video guy now.
Yeah, I'm the video guy. It's great.
And I'll be playing bass. So come hear me mess up. That'll be fun. Be a good time. Come on out. We're going to be there, obviously. And if you're here locally in the community, I think Eli and Jana, because of their business, with photography and videography, you guys know a lot of people just because you guys get to meet a lot of people. And so come on out and support. Again, this is for baby number 2. Yeah. Let's get James a sibling.
Yeah.
James needs that sibling. He wants that sibling. And so I know Eli and Jenna also want another baby too. So come on out. It'd be really cool. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. You could subscribe if you want to. That's cool. But share. Also share the podcast episode. And remember, be the dad your kid deserves. Be a proud papi. That's it, guys. Peace out.